Well, good afternoon. And guess what I'm doing? Nugget hunting. Tammy's up there somewhere in the wash.
Come over here.
Yeah, you can see her moving around down there. I've been getting asked a lot of questions on what makes me stop in a spot and hunt. And right now we're out at San Domingo, and I'm sitting right in what stops to make me hunt. Okay, if you look around me right here, you can see hand-stacked piles of rocks, old placer tailings from a dry washer. There's a coarse pile, and there's the fines. More rocks thrown up on the bank, and they worked this area pretty darn hard back in the old days. And anytime they worked an area like this, it's a good place to metal detect and get a start. And yeah, you're going to find a lot of trash because these guys weren't real good at being clean, I guess you want to say. They just threw their junk wherever and dropped bits of metal and stuff everywhere, and we dig it up. So if you don't dig it all up though, you're going to miss gold. How do I know that? Well, geez, guys, we're in a gold field, okay? If there's still targets in the ground, there's still gold in the ground with those targets. I've proven that to myself and others over and over. Now I'm going to read you a little bit out of a book here in a second. And this is a very old placer. And I'm going to read you what the book says about the placer. And if you're in a Roadrunners Club or GPAA or one of the other clubs that has San Domingo claims, well, you're going to learn from this, okay? And I'm going to read a book called Placer Gold Deposits of Arizona, okay? And this book you can download free online on Google and other places, or you can buy a copy of it here and there. And there's also a copy of it done by Eldred Wilson. And there's also a copy done by the Arizona Bureau of Mines. And all this information is similar, but each author writes different things in there that they thought they were important. And that can be helpful to have all three books. So I'll be right back. Alrighty, we got our book here, and we are in the Maricopa County section. And we're on page 21, and it's the San Domingo District. Okay, location, south flank of the Wickenburg Mountains, northeast of the Hassayampa River. And it gives you the township and range and that information, and what topographic map is on the Wickenburg and Red Picacho 7.5-minute quadrangles. And when you get these books that show you township and range, it confuses a lot of people, but you can go on Google or online and find a converter that'll show you approximately exactly where these spots are by just knowing the township and range where they're talking about. Okay, geological map, Wilson, Moore, and Pierce, 1957. Geological map, Maricopa County scale, blah, blah, blah. Access, jeep trails lead to the low hills on the north side of U.S. Highway 60, 70, 89 near San Domingo Wash, 7 miles southeast of Wickenburg, 3 miles northeast of Morristown. And I guess we're probably sitting about 5 miles northeast of Morristown right now. Okay? And here's the extent. And this is why these books are so important. And this is like the key. It makes you so you join a club, you go to a new area, you've read about it first before you get there. You don't get out of the car then going, what in the heck, where do I start? What did they do here? You know already. Okay, here we go. Extent. The placers in the San Domingo District are found in San Domingo Wash, its tributaries, and adjacent washes, and on mesas between gulches. The placer area in the south is southwest of a low range of hills that includes the prominent San Domingo Peak. The drainage of the area is southwestward to the Hassayampa River. Many washes are mentioned in the literature as scenes of active placer mining, but the topographic maps of the area only locate San Domingo Wash, which drains through section 25 and 29 and blah, blah, blah. That's a bunch of stuff you're gonna have to look up when you're playing with maps. Okay, and so the rest of this little part of here is all just on location. What they're trying to tell you is there's many, many, many more areas in here other than just the 1 or 2 areas they're mentioning here that held gold. And there's basically 10 to 20 square miles of area where you can actually find nuggets or gold in this area. Production history. This is where it gets important. Production history. The San Domingo district has the largest recorded placer gold production in Maricopa County and produced continuously, although on a small scale, from 1905 to 1951. But the Spaniards were here earlier. During the early 1960s, gold was recovered as a byproduct of gravel operations and by large-scale operations with a mobile dryland dredge. It is not known when the placers were discovered, but the district was actively worked during the period of 1870 through 80. It is said that the placer miners recovered $15 to $100 per day. Okay, that's when gold was like $18 an ounce or $16 an ounce. That's quite a bit of gold per day. Okay. Old Woman Gulch was a large producer in 1875. One report indicates 1885, and American Gulch reportedly produced fortunes for California miners at the same time. Now, both those places are unlocated. They're not on the map, so whatever gulches had those names are not named that anymore. For what reason, I don't know, but you don't find them on the maps. Between 1910 and 1912, the district was actively prospected by Mr. John Sanger, who started at Latituana Mining Company and planned to mine 4,000 acres of placer ground on a large scale. The company concentrated its exploration efforts in the Rogers Wash, where the average value of the ground was 68 cents per cubic yard, but where the value of some area strips was as high as $1.19 to $1.36 per cubic yard. A dam built by Mr. Sanger across San Domingo Wash failed because the intended reservoir filled with sand and gravels before operations had finished one season. So actual production of the Lackawanna Mining Company is not known. So what happened was they built this dam, and it's still there. And, I'd say it's probably 40, 50 feet high. And a couple good rainstorms, the washes move a lot of material, and it filled the wash right to the top. It's still there. You can drive a buggy or a quad or hike right up to the edge of it and look down over the edge. It's pretty amazing how fast it filled up. Since 1912, the records indicate only small-scale operations in the district until the late 1950s, and in 1959, the McDonald Construction Company recovered gold from gravels were sorted according to size. Fine gravel, minus 3/16 mesh, contained most of the gold. Coarser gravel, 3/16 into minus 3/4 inch, was sent to a Nugget trap part of the time. During the period of 1960 to 62, a dryland dredge named Geraldine, owned by the United Placer Industries Incorporated, worked the gravels of San Domingo District. The operation of this dredge received considerable attention in mining journals, but production records are confidential and success of the operation is not known. Okay, here's the source of the gold. The San Domingo District is predominantly a placer mining district, and there is very little literature available that describes the gold-bearing veins. The origin of the placer gold is said to be from Precambrian and post-Cambrian veins in the area. We'll let this buggy go by. Okay, so Precambrian and post-Cambrian. Now that's old, folks. That's before critters. That's old, very old. And it goes on to tell you where the literature was collected for the book. Okay? And it goes on to the next district, Cave Creek District, and on. Okay? And this book comes with, if you get the copy of the map, you also get this slick little map. I'm only going to show you part of it here, but it shows in yellow and circled areas, if I can get the wind to calm down a hair here for you, where gold was found in Arizona. Okay? Where gold was found in Arizona. Why did I say that twice? Well, because you're wanting to know where to go, you go where gold's been found before. I was taught that many years ago by Jim Strait. May he rest in peace, a good friend of mine. And I learned to study before I went to an area, and I hunt where people have found gold before. Now that doesn't mean you can't go to a new area and find gold. You can, you absolutely can. But to start out and learn, it's always best to go where they found gold before. And that's what I do, mainly, probably 80% of the time. Now, I have found some new areas in my day, and we'll talk about some of that at another date. But for right now, I'm going to do a little hunting. But you learned what that book said. It told you what size the gold was, and that there were some big nuggets in here. And if you look at Wilson's version, he tells you how big some of the nuggets were found out of here. The biggest one I know that was found was in, I think, 2006 by Jim Boxberger. It weighed 2.27 pounds. It was a specimen, and it had 1.47 pounds, troy pounds of gold in it. And I've shown you pictures of that before. So anyway, I'm gonna get busy and find myself a nugget. We got a target right down in here. My machine's a little noisy right now because Tammy's just right over the hill from me there. But first I thought it was this rock. It looks a lot like a hot rock. Hopefully you can see me here. I don't know, it's pretty steep. Oh. Okay. I've already dug 2 shell casings. Yeah, we moved it. Oh. Right in there. Now it's ready in the scoop. See what we got. Now, okay, down to the nitty gritty. I think. Oh, I thought that was going to be gold. Hey, it's a piece of lead. Yeah, I thought that was going to be gold, guys. It sounded good and it covered in dirt, but yep, just a piece of lead. So, into the pouch it goes, and off we go. If I don't fall down. Well, don't you know, this one made my heart skip a beat. Look at that, in the scoop, it looked like gold right off the bat. Yes, it did, but unfortunately, it's not. Yeah, off we go. Okay, well, today I gave you a good place to start. I got skunked today. It is what it is. I took a lot of metal, and hey, I'm metal detecting, so I guess it wasn't all that bad, right? Anyway, if I went farther on in the book, they also described placer gravels, what the gravels were like. And in this area, you can see it's a mixture of volcanic, metamorphic, and sedimentary rock, along with caliche, which acts as a false bedrock and stops a lot of this gold. So these guys are scraping this material off here that you see with all the quartz in it, and ironstone, and all the volcanic material. They're scraping it right off the top and right down to the false bedrock, or tuff, like you see in that gray streak right there. And they're scraping this stuff off it and running it through the dry washers and getting the gold. Like I said, go where gold's been found before. These guys were running dry washers, okay? And you heard the measurements earlier on, if you watched the video again or paid attention. And I told you that in some areas, they classified it all the way down to 3/8 of an inch. To run it through a nugget trap, they went up to 3/4 of an inch on Geraldine, the dredge. But most dry washers classified out at about a 1/2 inch to 3/8 of an inch. And with that being said, anything bigger than 3/8 of an inch went right over the top into these coarse piles. And back in the day, when we first started coming out here, these coarse tailings piles were just loaded with nuggets. And the old timers knew they were missing some nuggets. If they saw one laying there, they'd sure pick it up. But the whole deal was they were finding so much fine gold that they didn't care about losing the occasional nugget. And that's just how it was. So for now, my friends, I hope you learned a little bit from this. That's my main goal out here, other than finding gold. So like, subscribe, ring the bell. And for now, my friends, we're camping out here for a few days, so we're going to do some hunting. For now, Nugget Shooter out.